Welcome to Week and Geek, your new comics preview for November 27th. I'm Mike Ortiz.
And I'm the Chris Brown.
What do you got?
Well, we're without our news desk this week because we're getting the paint done. The paint's finally getting done in here. So yeah, we're all old school this week. I'm going to start out here with All New X-Men. This is issue 19. This is, the first issue springing out of the whole Battle of the Atom or Battle for the Atom or whatever.
We got new costumes.
New costumes. They just did that in the Uncanny X-Men a couple weeks ago. So I'm curious to see what this new direction of the book is and how because before it was them sort of dealing with being here and why are they here and what do they do next. I guess this is next. Make them heroes, give them new costumes. They join this group and
unexpected twist. Didn't see that coming, but good stuff.
Not at all. I like it. Then I've got Nova issue number 100. This is issue 10, but I guess according to whatever numbers of the various Nova series they've done.
If you combine them all up, this would be 100.
So they slapped a 100 on it. It looks good. It looks classy. They've still got the issue 10 on it, which I like. So they're going to keep going with that, but they're still honoring the fact that it would be, an issue 100. Obviously, honestly, I'm behind on this one. I'm behind on so many things, but this is a book I've really been enjoying. This is, it looks like they've got a lot of talent on this one. Maybe this is just a bunch of different writers or a bunch of different artists and inkers and such. Now, since Zeb Wells took over the book, I have not really been keeping up. You would often be teasing me about that. Like, you don't even like Zeb Wells. I'm like, I'm trying, though. So I am a little bit behind on it. Yeah. I will get through it and see where it goes because I like the setup that it was Loeb that was originally doing that, right? I liked where he had started the book. Then I've got, this is sort of an interesting one. IDW is doing this book called The Max Maximized. This is essentially a reprint of issue number 1. This is, it's supposed to be recolored or updated in some way. It looks the same, but if you've never really read The Max or it's been a long time, you don't know where your old issues are, you should pick this up and revisit this. This is a wonderful story. This is one of my favorites when I was a teenager when this was coming out. They even did that series on MTV, which was pretty fantastic. The Max is a great book, and in my opinion, Sam Keith's best work. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people have forgotten it. If you didn't check it out the first time around, this will give you a chance to visit it. Really interesting. This was probably the most unusual of all of that first generation Image books. It really didn't read like the stuff that Liefeld and McFarlane and Lee were doing. So it was really quite an interesting shift for Image Comics.
It was very indie compared to the superhero universe that they were crafting otherwise. And now talking about it just makes me really remember in the 90s when McFarlane Toys did the Max figure?
Oh, yeah.
They did a bag full of Izzes. I want a bag full of Izzes all of a sudden, and I didn't until just now.
eBay.
Then we've got this is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is still part of City Fall, and we've got Bebop and Rocksteady are now in the story. This is Leonardo has joined the Foot, and our guys are trying to get their brother back and trying to fight Shredder and see what's going on here and fix this problem. Looks like something's going on here. Maybe Leo's programming is breaking down and things are going weird. I'm liking this story. I am a couple issues behind, but I like me some Turtles.
Cool.
Next up, I've got Bedlam. This is issue number 10. This is a really fun book, and I'm about an issue behind, and this had gotten delayed, some hang-ups there. So I've got to go back and read this because this is there's a lot going on. Nick Spencer's scripts are dense with a lot of story.
Yeah.
I think Ryan Brown's stuff looks great. This looks more like Ryan Brown than that first issue he did, where he was looking like he was still trying to capture a little bit of Riley's spirit. Now he's doing his own thing, and this is fantastic.
He's kind of evolved it into his stuff.
Yeah, this looks great. I think Ryan Brown's a good dude. He does some great art, fantastic stuff, and we are talking with him about trying to get him in here right before Christmas.
Cool.
He's got a couple of special guests with him. We're going to keep that under wraps until we can figure that out, but hopefully we should be able to get Ryan in here, and you sign your Bedlams and some God Hates Astronauts and all that stuff for you. Then I've got, this is issue number 3 of Rat Queens by Curtis Weeb and Rock Upchurch. This was, I didn't read the second issue. I'm behind on everything, and I know that probably makes me a horrible person and unfit for this position. But I really liked that first issue. It was kind of strange. It was the elf chicks on sort of a mission. They'd all been given different missions, and some of them were just, to clean the toilets and this. And our group, has to fight this big bad group. And I don't know. It was kind of neat. I like Curtis Weeb's writing as a whole. The genre doesn't always appeal to me. This whole mystical D&D kind of stuff. But I like what he's doing, and his writing is strong, and I like the dialogue he's crafting with his characters. Then I've got Pretty Deadly. This is issue number 2 by Kelly Sue DeConnick with art by Emma Rios. This artwork is incredible. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. The first issue was good, but it was giving me a lot of the same feeling as East of West. Mm-hmm. You know, kind of death comes a calling. Right. It's set very much in a Western, Old West setting. I think the retailer that shredded it online and made a big to-do was perhaps not doing anything in his own best interests, and Image, threatened to pull product from him or whatever. Well, I don't know. You're here to sell books whether you like them or not. I don't like everything that's on the stands in here, but I couldn't possibly like everything that's on the stands in here. It's just not possible. You're not going to like every movie at the box office either. Mm-hmm. Just doesn't work that way. But I did like it. It reminded me of things that were going on in East to West, but I wanted to see where it was going. This looks like getting more to a bit of a Western and boobies. Like boobies. But again, this artwork is just absolutely incredible, and I want to see where this story ends up. A very kind of neat idea, and it sounds like it's very personal to Kelly Sue DeConnick as well. I read her, her thing in the back, her little editorial there. And yeah, I want to see where she takes this story, because it does sound like a very personal one to her that she has been wanting to write and get out of her for a long time. We've got Revival number 15 from Image Comics. This is written by Tim Seeley with art by Mike Norton. I am caught up on this one, but I don't remember where we were left off on the last issue. So I'm going to have to maybe go back, take a look, and catch up. This was starting to, while it began with the mystery of these revivers, these people who were coming back after being dead. Yeah, some people even that had been dead, that come back. And then our main character, what happened to her? Why was she dead? She's now, starting to solve her own mystery and what happened there. But there's so many other things going on. It's a really well-crafted story, weaving a lot of different things in there, and I like it. Tim Seeley's become a heck of a writer. Then we've got Hoax Hunters, issue number 12. These are their buddies, Mike Morisi and Steve Seeley. This is art by T-Rex Jones. I think he left the book. He is on this issue, but I think he leaves in a couple issues maybe. Okay. Really, really cool stuff. I have not started this story arc, I don't believe. I think I'm a couple issues behind on this. I'm trying the best I can. So much to do. We're getting into the end of the year here, so it's hard for me to keep up. But you know what I am caught up on? Also written by Mike Morisi and Steve Seeley. They've got an online comic that you can look up. I don't remember who's hosting it, but I know their kind of thing is Fifth Dimension Comics. I'd have to go back and see who's hosting it. But it's called Primates. Prime 8s. It has a very strong Jack Kirby feel. It's a bunch of monkey spies. Oh. There was a monkey team that was working together, and then they've kind of broken off, and it's this whole monkey world, and there's this super group. Really fun, awesome stuff. And I guess what's going to happen is after they're done publishing it online, then they're going to collect it and publish it. Check it out. I mean, I'm not the biggest supporter of digital comics. We're trying to sell, paper comics. Right. But what they've got here, I like their work, and I really appreciate what Mike does. Mike had posted something actually on Facebook on Tuesday about how, so many creators think, well, you should if I like the creator, I'm maybe more likely to read his stuff than if, how else do you get it in people's hands? This other creator didn't like social media or whatever. And Mike says, what, why can't you just judge the work? And I really had to resist going, well, I love your writing, but you as a person, it just so happens that Mike is a very talented writer, as is Steve. They do really cool, fun stuff together. Primates also appeared, I believe, in those the mini comics that they had done, the action figures not included. Mm-hmm. And they had a bunch of literary commandos and really fun stuff. But obviously my favorite was the Primates because it involved monkeys. So while we're hyping Hoax Hunters this week, I did go on a little tangent there for Primates. Yeah. Looked that one up online. Great stuff. Really, really liked that book. Then we've got issue 16 of Saga by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. Our heroes are on the run. There are these reporters that are now getting in the mix. Would it shock you if I told you I was an issue behind? I like this book, though. It's really fantastic. This is something that I love to read from month to month, but I think it might suit me better if I collected them up.
Yeah.
And read a nice big chunk, as those work that way sometimes. Then I've got to realize I'm getting through this stack quicker than I thought I was. It was a big stack this week. Mm-hmm. Now I've got The Walking Dead, issue 117. This is All Out War, part 3. This is finally getting into that 2-a-month groove. We just had one 2 weeks ago. In the last issue, I hope you're caught up. I hope I'm not ruining it, but I'm gonna give you a little review of this one because I have read it.
He's read this one, so he wants to talk about it.
I do want to talk about it. Issue 116. Our group goes to Negan's camp and basically threatens him and says you can surrender now or you've got war on your hands. Things happen, and basically Rick has a plan so that they're going to drive right into their camp and they're going to attract a lot of zombies and stick them there. Well, now you're sort of dealing with Negan is Holly, Abraham's girl, that they were just sort of developing a relationship. She knocks Rick out of the way. She takes the van and drives it into the camp. Now she's stuck there with Negan. Negan has a really great speech for her. But while Negan's great and all of these speeches are wonderful and you love it, he's on the wrong end all of a sudden. His cockiness, he's wrong. The things he's saying, his cockiness, trying to keep his cockiness up, it's not working because in this particular instance, his plan isn't going to work. It's not who he thinks it is. And really, really kind of cool. You think he's going to take on all these zombies, and he realizes the position he's in. And then you see what the rest of Rick's plan is. I am curious to see where all of this is going to go. Holly has already sort of let Dwight know that she knows he's the one who killed Abraham, and that's why she's here. So Dwight is also with our group, though. What's going to happen? He's kind of an inside man, and he knows what's happening. So this is a great issue, and I am really, really not going to spoil too much fun, but there's some cool stuff going on in this issue, and I like where this story's going.
Cool.
What do you got?
I'm going to start off with Superman number 25. This is Krypton Returns Part 4. I think this is the ending of it. There is I believe if the rumors are true, there is some sacrifice. But basically in the storyline, that character Ha'el, who at the end of his last story got transported back in time to Krypton when it was still around. Basically, he because of his traveling through time, that wasn't the only time he traveled through time. I guess he went back to Krypton, went forward in time again, went back to Krypton. He's been kind of bouncing around through time, and he found a way to save Krypton and prevent it from being destroyed. The downside is he then proceeded to enslave the planet. So Superman, Supergirl, and Superboy all get sent to this Krypton by the Oracle because things are out of whack. Time's been messed with, and as you know, if you mess with time too much, Angela will pop up in the universe, and then Galactus will eat Earth too. And they don't want that.
They don't want that.
So they go to Krypton. The Oracle sends them to several key points in Krypton's history for them to prevent Ha'el from preventing Krypton being destroyed. So it's complicated. And Superman.
They really are marveling up the DC universe, aren't they?
So basically, Kara, or Supergirl, who had a relationship with Ha'el, gets to fight with him. Superboy goes to protect Kara from the past and make sure she gets sent away from Krypton so that she can come to Earth. Superman's hanging out with his dad, and he got into a fight with his mom. And
I'm going to my room.
So and they don't know who he is, obviously, but as you remember, Superman's mom is actually in the military, and she beat the crap out of him, which was actually kind of cool.
Nice.
The way that they're doing this is as soon as they pop under a red sun, and the old Superman, when they would show up under a red sun, they'd lose their powers immediately.
Yeah.
Well, now they don't. Their powers start to fade, so they will fade out at the most convenient time. But anyway, this is going to kind of resolve that. It's the last part of the storyline, and I'm sure at the end everything will be returned to its normal, but with something different that will feed some future storylines. Next up, Red Lanterns number 25. This is following the Lights Out storyline. Guy Gardner is in charge of the Red Lanterns. They've been given a sector all their own where Green Lanterns are not allowed. So they're basically going to forge their power base. Guy Gardner is not going to revert to being a Green Lantern like the original plan because the Blue Lanterns are all dead and the only White Lantern is presumed dead. So yeah, Guy Gardner's in charge of the Lanterns. If you've seen upcoming solicits, I guess he's going to grow his hair out and get a mustache because that's what happens when you turn evil. But anyway, this is kind of giving us the new direction of the book after Lights Out. So that's been a really good storyline, lots of fun.
And that's Charles Soule, right?
Charles Soule, writer.
He writes some good stuff.
Some good stuff, very good stuff. He's really, he turned this book around. I know this was, a lot of people thought Red Lantern was the weakest of the Green Lantern books, myself included. Now it's actually one of the stronger ones. Next up, we've got Larfleeze, number 5. This is not tying into the other stuff. Lights Out did not go into this book at all. Larfleeze is kind of off on his own because this is a bit of a comedy book. But basically, they brought all the people that he killed to turn into Orange Lantern constructs. They brought them to life, and then they went after him to extract their vengeance. I'm an issue behind on this one. You're gonna hear a lot of that from both of us. It's been a busy year lately.
The title of this week's episode: I'm a week behind.
Yes. So yeah, I'm not really sure exactly what's going on in this issue, but that's the storyline that's going on. And as always, it's Keith Giffen, J.M. DeMatteis, and Scott Collins. Great team. Funny stuff. Next up, we've got Black Science number 1. This is from Image Comics, a new number 1. This is one of the big books that they promoted at their Image Expo.
It's Rick Remender,
Rick Remender, Matteo Scalera, and Dean White. I'm not sure what the premise of this. It's very clearly a sci-fi book. Kind of a sort of hyped as sort of more of an old school sci-fi comic. Great cover, great artwork. I guess we'll find out if it's great writing too. But
well, he was doing Fear Agent, right, which was kind of a sci-fi thing, and that everyone who read it said fantastic things about it. That got great reviews. So
yeah, he does some good stuff. I think this one, although this one, the Fear Agent was an alien invasion of Earth. This seems like it's a little more sci-fi than that. It doesn't look like it's even set on Earth.
No, I don't believe it is. So, I read the first few pages a couple weeks ago, and now I don't remember exactly what it was about. They had sent me a PDF, but it was like small. Okay. Everything was sideways. It was the 2-page scan, and I just couldn't read it. Not good. Yeah, my eyeballs can't do that.
But this looks really, really good. Great artwork. Rick Remender's been doing some great stuff. And out of all the stuff that was announced at that Image Expo, this is the one that I was probably most looking forward to. Next up, Kick-Ass 3, number 5. This is continuing Mark Millar's kind of semi-realistic superhero storyline. I did get caught up on this. Actually, this has been pretty cool. There's kind of a twist that happens. I'm not going to spoil, but some new costume characters show up, but there's something else going on with them. Our main character finds himself a lady, which is nice. So there's some loving going on in here. There's some nakedness, some boobies. A lot of boobies this week in comics.
Yeah, a lot of boobies. Break out the plastic bags.
I thought this was supposed to kind of go into Hit Girl's origin a little bit more, but maybe that's the next issue. But this is just continuing the storyline. There's been some twists. If you're reading it, I don't want to kind of ruin it because there was some kind of a neat twist at the end of the last issue that ties into this kind of Punisher-like character on the front cover here. But good stuff. This is this one has been a little less kind of twisted and misanthropic than most of Miller's stuff. Maybe he's mellowing, but a little bit more story-driven and a little less kind of just excess-driven. Speaking of excess, we got FF number 14. This is Matt Fraction and several Allreds. I'm caught up, and I still don't really remember what's going on in this book.
That's great, though.
Kind of crazy. We've got the Watcher. We've got a Lady Watcher. We've got the Impossible Man. But then we've got Doom and Kang and Annihilus, which is all tying in the alternate universe Johnny Storm, which is all tying into FF. But they're not really sure how it's all fitting together yet. But I don't care. It's still a fun book, and I love the artwork. And man, it's great artwork. Great artwork. I don't know if this is continuing. I know they're rebooting FF or Fantastic Four. I don't know if they're rebooting this or not. I don't think they've announced that.
No, I haven't heard anything.
Continue at all, but still good stuff, even if I don't quite know what's going on. Next up, Wolverine and the X-Men number 38. All I remember was the premise of this is the X-Men have a new adversary, and it is S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay.
But with all the fighting going on between mutants, Shield's not too thrilled with what's going on. But this is the continuing adventures of the school, the Jean Grey school. Continuing. Is this the first issue after Battle of the Atom?
I think so.
So yeah, we're going to see how those changes play out here. That really shouldn't impact this too much because the old characters were really only popping up a little bit.
Okay.
But it looks like we got Kid Gladiator back. We've got that Brood Kid back. Weird Shark Kid. Weird stuff. The Bamfs are in here, even though their story's playing out in Amazing. Is it Amazing?
Amazing X-Men.
Amazing X-Men. A lot of X-Men stuff, man.
A lot of adjectives.
But this is Jason Aaron again, who also writes. I believe he's writing this.
Is he writing?
Jason Aaron again. This is Wolverine and the X-Men Annual 1. This has got Nick Bradshaw, who's really my favorite artist on this book. It's got a very Art Adams
it looks good.
kind of vibe.
Very clean.
And this is tying into Infinity. I don't know how the X-Men really haven't been a part of that, but it looks like Kid Gladiator, who is Shi'ar, and I believe his dad is Gladiator, who's playing a key part in Infinity. So I guess that's how it's going to tie in. But yeah, this should be pretty good. I've really enjoyed Infinity so far. Enjoyed Wolverine and the X-Men. Good combination. Next up, Superior Spider-Man number 22. All I know about this one is Venom. And you got Spider-Man kind of silhouetted against Spider-Man against the Venom costume on the front. Now, Venom at this point is Flash Thompson.
Right. I think that book's ending, so I don't know if they're going to then do something different with the symbiote.
I have no idea. Well, the symbiote actually, Venom's joining the Guardians of the Galaxy. It's I think on the free comic book day.
Really?
Well, the suit's an alien.
Yeah, all right.
So yeah, I didn't see that coming. And he's certainly not going to be in the movie because he's owned by Sony.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm not really sure what's going on. I mean, I'm caught up on this book, but everything's been sort of resolved. Basically, we've got some sort of thing going on with the goblins that have been sort of running underneath everything. Probably going to be the Goblin will tie into the big finale of this. Parker starting his own company. He got his PhD. So yeah, I mean, again, Otto is trying to make Peter's life much better than it was, but there's still those hints that something's coming. We don't know when it's going to get resolved, but I think he's going to have to fight every single one of Spider-Man's villains before Peter Parker comes back. So you can check Venom off.
Okay.
And see what's next. Next up, we got Hawkeye number 14. I realized today I never read 13. I never even bought it. So I'm going to buy 13. I'm going to read it, and then I'm going to read this. So I don't know what's going on here. And even then, it's been months since an issue came out. So I don't remember what happened. I know the female Hawkeye headed out west, and this looks like it's focusing on her. She was the featured character in the annual. So he's focusing on the other Hawkeye for a while. It's not David Aja, but again, they find guys who are kind of in the same ballpark style-wise. It's same great colors. So Matt Fraction is continuing his sort of ground-level Avenger book. Really, really good stuff. Next up, we've got, this is New Avengers number 12. We've got a nice Thanos statue cover calling back to the old Death of Captain Marvel graphic novel. I don't know how this fits in, but it's an Infinity tie-in with Hickman and Deodato. Infinity is
it's a great cover.
Some big cosmic stuff. This has been a big cosmic Avengers book. So it's an Infinity tie-in. It's really more than just a tie-in. All the Avengers books are just sort of pieces of the Infinity story. So that's why I'm picking this up. But plus, that's a great cover.
Oh yeah.
So I guess we're gonna find out what happens to Thanos. We'll see. But that's my stack.
All right, well, I guess that brings me to the top of my stack here. I've got Letter 44 by Charles Soule. This has been a really cool book. That first issue, this is the two. So the first issue was, I believe, a $1 book. Mm-hmm. And it was awesome. I mean, basically a new president gets elected. So left a letter from the old president that says, the reason I've started a bunch of foreign wars that nobody believes in is I'm actually trying to build troops, trying to build an army because there's something big coming. Mm. And they've got a group of astronauts out in space trying to figure out why there is this installation being built on the moon. Looks like there's an alien race building for an invasion of the Earth. and the previous president, which essentially is kind of setting up to be sort of the George Bush thing. But what if that happened? What if you got a president that's doing a bunch of crazy stuff and you realize he had a long-term plan, and it was to protect the Earth overall and not just the country?
Good plan.
Neat story, and I think
didn't this get optioned by somebody recently?
I believe I heard that after one issue, but it's such a fantastic concept.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see what they do with it. I think it's funny sometimes nowadays these guys are just sort of buying ideas.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's a great idea. You haven't even really done anything with it yet, but let's do a movie or a show or something.
Which, of course, usually means that they stop making the comic and start working.
And I hope that's not the case. And this guy, Charles Soule, seems to work his tail off.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of books.
He's got a lot of books going and really good stuff. I mean, he did that 27 that I was, raving about all those years ago, a couple years ago. The artwork here is fantastic. This is, who is this again? This is an Albuquerque. Alberto Jimenez Albuquerque. Really, really cool stuff. I like the book. I want to see where this next issue goes because that first issue ended pretty cool.
Cool.
So what's your top pick there?
My top pick, it's been mentioned twice already in my stack, and that is Infinity #6. This is the last issue. Jim Chung returns on artwork. Oh my God, that's gorgeous, Thanos. So this wraps up this miniseries, Marvel's latest epic. This is going to lead into Inhumanity. I think that's what it's called. But basically, we've got this big cosmic invasion force that wants to destroy Earth that we've repelled. And while those Avengers are off fighting in space, Thanos comes to Earth to look for his son, and he finds him and triggers his inhuman power. So now this is the wrap up. I think the Avengers issue might actually take place after this. Oh no, there's Avengers 12. Yep. So yeah, if you're getting both of these, read Infinity before Avengers.
Okay.
So this is the
finale. But there isn't. It says then the Avengers, right? And then New Avengers. Did you already get the Avengers last? Or have we not gotten that Avengers yet?
New Avengers #12. That's this one. So New Avengers actually takes place after.
Okay.
They've got that little chart in the back. Just follow that. But yeah, we got some good stuff in here. Great artwork by Jim Chung. This has been a fun series. It's been pretty tight. Very straightforward, very sci-fi. It's an alien invasion and a dude looking for his son. Not very different from what I was expecting, but really great science fiction stuff from Jonathan Hickman, as he always delivers.
Yeah.
I think his Avengers run is going to be every bit as solid as his FF run was, and this is going to be kind of a key part of it. And again, Jim Chung artwork. I mean, look at that.
That's really fantastic.
Great stuff.
That Loki in there looked pretty great.
He may only do 2 issues a year, but those 2 issues are great. Even though there's a lot of blank white pages. So we got some Star Brand too. Good stuff.
And I noticed that there's already this week the Indestructible Hulk has an Inhumanity banner across the top. So man, they're wasting no time to get that right out there.
Yep.
So big week this week. Lots of great books. Be sure to check out a bunch of stuff.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Those who celebrate it, those who don't, just get a pizza.
Yeah, get it, but enjoy that pizza all the same. And go Lions. With that, that is your Week in Geek.